A lot of changes are happening in the Edmonton real estate market as the interest rates begin to rise, inventory begins to slow down. A lot of people are sitting on the fence wondering what's going to go on with the Edmonton real estate market. So I want to break down the actual facts, the actual statistics. And remember, when you're looking at statistics, there's Edmonton, the city of Edmonton, and then there's the greater Edmonton area. The greater Edmonton area covers a lot of little small towns around. So it doesn't really mean anything to you as a home seller or you as a home buyer if you're looking to purchase in Edmonton. So when we look at the stats, they're looking pretty good. The month over month sales are down by 10%, but you know what? We're still up 32% since this time last year, year to date. So 32% increase in sales, and last year was a great year. So if we have a 32% increase, that's really good as well. Well, new listings down last month by 3%, and year to date, we've only had 20,000 listings on the market. 20,000 listings on the market, 12,000 sales. Yes, you guessed it. That means 8,000 properties didn't sell or are still sitting on the market. So the market isn't as hot. It's not like there's going to be multiple offers on every single listing that hits the market. It's a really balanced market. You can get out there and you can find some good deals, or you can put your house on the market and you could get a really good deal for your house. So am I saying it's a great time to buy and a great time to sell? That's not what I'm saying at all. It depends on what is happening in your area, what happening in the area you want to buy. So be careful to analyze that part of the market so that you know you're making the right choice. Now, we've seen the days on market go up to 46. If you're following these market updates, you know that it's creeping up. It was at 42 last year. But the average home price is $488,000. But does that really mean anything? That means year over year, it's up 3%. What does that mean for you? Does it mean your house went up by 3%? Generally not. That's just the average price of a home that sells. So if a whole bunch of people buy $600,000 houses, it's going to push that market up. It doesn't mean the average price of a home went up. It means the average price that sold went up. So it's a little bit difficult to understand that part of it. But when we get into the benchmark price, which I'm going to show you, this will show you what properties have actually moved. And you can probably see this in the background, the trend moving down and up, down to January, back up to September, happens every year. I tell you guys it's going to slow down. It's going to slow down pretty soon here. So if you're sitting on the fence and waiting to purchase a home, you might see a deal or two come up pretty soon. And if you're waiting to sell because you want a better price, that's generally not going to happen. It's generally going to have to wait until the springtime. So benchmark price, $443,000. Now this is the price that is determined on the average house, on what it's worth, what it's gone up, what it's gone down. So a little different than the average selling price. This is the price of the average house. So $443,000, which is exactly the same as it was last month, but it's up 0.4% since this time last year. So prices have increased since this time last year, which is a big surprise because earlier in the year, a lot of houses were selling for less. The prices were coming down. But as you can see from the market trend, it dropped down into January and then slowly creeped up. Oh, other side, slowly creeped up. So we're going to see that every year. That little bump happens every year. When you look into condos, the condo market sucks. There's no way for me to put it. I got to put it bluntly. The condo market sucks. So if you're probably down 10%, 20% from if you bought in the last 5 years, the condo market just isn't coming back. So we were hoping that it would come back, just hasn't come back. Townhouses are pretty good. They're up 2.3% since this time last year. I think a lot of that has to do with a lot of the new townhouses and a lot of the new infill because that's bumping up the price compared to the old ones. And yeah, benchmark price, we're super happy with that. So the benchmark price across the board, $373,000. That takes into account single family condos and townhouses. So what's going on with the market? What's happening? There's still a lack of inventory. I'm going to pop back to that other one, 4,700. If you guys follow along, you probably know that 4,000, anywhere in that 4,000 range is very, very low. We've seen it 10,000, 12,000 just recently, so in the last couple of years. At the peak of the market, when everything was crashing, we've seen 15, 16, 17,000. So you got to be careful of that. This means that the inventory is super low, so there's not a lot of stuff out there. And in specific neighborhoods, the inventory is very, very low. So make sure you're determining the market value of the property you're looking for. If there's 1,000 homes for sale, let's say Secord, for example, there's so many homes for sale in Secord. With supply and demand, nothing can happen except for the prices to come down to match the lack of buyers in that market. Whereas if you go into like a very sought after neighborhood like Otwell or Grosvenor or something like that, there's not a lot of competition for homes coming on the market, so the prices are inevitably going to go up. Also, with the interest rates going up and the qualifying rate going up, I believe the qualifying rate is somewhere in the 7 to 8% range. People are qualifying for less. So if you're trying to sell a home for $500,000 right now, it's much harder than it was last year because less people qualify for it. We saw people that could qualify for $600,000 and $700,000 last year. Now they're qualifying for around $400,000. So people are being disappointed with what they can get with their money. So when somebody is disappointed that they can't get what they want, what do? They usually wait. So we have a ton of people waiting to see what happens. If that qualifying rate comes down or maybe the house prices come down, they don't really know, but they know that they're not happy. So if there's nothing pushing you, nothing motivating you to move, like you need a bigger house, your family's getting bigger, or you got to move closer to work or anything like that, if there's nothing motivating you, you're usually sitting on the fence and being like, well, let's see what happens. But that's not, sitting and waiting isn't always the best strategy. So make sure you talk to your real estate agent, make sure you talk to a consultant, your mortgage broker, your lawyer, everybody, so that you can make the decision, make whatever is the best choice that supports you and your family. So make sure you're doing that. Like, as always, if you have any questions about the Edmonton real estate market, reach out to me or someone on the team. See you next month.